everybody, my name is Farmer Phil, and in today's video it's a bit of a calf update. The last calves are coming out of the shed off the feeder, and we're going to go through all the calves, all the cattle and all that. It's a cattle video this day. But anyways, we're just here with Liv. She's admiring Betty's hard work and your own hard work. Just keep them fed, isn't that it? Yeah. But they're looking really well. So if anyone is interested, if you want to buy a pedigree, not registered, Tamworth, Boer or Guild, get in touch with us. They are for sale now. They're weaned. They're doing the finest now. They're what? They're a week weaned now. Yeah. And they're flying it. Absolutely flying it. Anyways, we're going to go feed calves, move bulls, move calves, and then we'll let you know how this calf rearing season has went. I know we haven't done literally nothing on it, but there's a reason for that, because what usually happens is I say how well things are going and then things go tits up. So I said, for a change, we're not going to look at the calves till we're actually reared and we get by the first stage of the calf rearing process. And today, well, there are a couple of days off milk now, but today, or maybe tomorrow, no, it won't be tomorrow, maybe Monday, we'll be moving them on out of the shed. So yeah, we go feed calves and move bulls. And here we are with, these are the second calves to come off the feeder. We have one batch, these are the second batch. We come up here because Rory's picking up the drill, because we're going sowing sunflowers. Yes, sunflowers, but that's a whole other topic. These docks are quite bad out here. They have lots of grass here. The farm we're on here, we have 60 calves in this batch, and we have copious amounts of grass ahead of them. Copious amounts of grass. So that's why we put extra. We're going to be running 2 batches of 50 and then 2 batches of 60, and then there'll be, I think, 5 calves over, so we'll probably put them with a batch of 50 or a batch of 60. Whoever has the most grass ahead of them is where them last few calves will go. But great calves here. There's Big Charlie, there's a Jersey, there's a couple of Belgian Blues there, and, you know, lovely big calves. Charlie's there, you know, looking real well. So they're very happy with how this batch is done. On the worm front, took dung samples into the vets to see when we needed to worm them, because we're going with a new product this year, Sidectin. I think we might make a separate video on that, just doing them and explaining more about it and that. But our vet wanted to make sure that we had some worm build up before we done them. I'll explain all when we get into it. So we dung sampled these. And this batch had an egg count of 30, and we had a slight bit of coccidiosis, which was one calf you have seen me do, or with one calf here failing a little bit. So we reckon that's the one Liv took the sample from, and a few others. So we just done her with Focoxin. It was enough. The vet said it's not enough to do them all, but just anyone that we see starting to fail a bit, just straight in with Focoxin, and just assume that that's what it is, because with a little bit of trouble with that in the shed, not much, but yeah, they're all looking really well. The Charlies have turned out to be quite nice calves. Very happy with them. But yeah, there's plenty of grass here. There's not a loss in them. Looking real well. Very happy with this batch. So we're going to go move bulls now, and then we're going to go back to the yard and look at the first batch of calves that come off the feeder, and then we'll look at the third batch that come off the feeder, and then finally the fourth batch, which is coming off which is off milk but hasn't been moved off the feeder just yet. As always, all my cattle videos are sponsored by Herdwatch. Later on, when we're moving out the last calves, we'll be trying to get all their tag numbers to put them into their batch, so we'll be doing that later. But as always, Herdwatch sponsor all the cattle videos, and we use Herdwatch for all animal recordings, dosing, medicines, everything. And the job I made at the last Part B inspection was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Mother Phil was singing high praises, so she was, compared to what it was in times before we had Herdwatch. But yeah, anyways, that's them. Looking real well. Lots of grass ahead of them. Docks is a bit annoying, but it is what it is. They're going to be moved from there. They're going to go through the yard to get dosed, and then they're going out onto silage ground that we cut to graze that. That far paddock there has gone far too strong. We can't get in to mow it, so we're going to let the bulls graze that, as they'll do a better job grazing it, while they go onto silage ground to give that a nibble off. But the vet said An egg count of 30, don't have to really worry about it. Egg count of 200.
I think that's what he said,
Yeah, egg count of 200 is where you need to start thinking of dosing. So he says give them another week and then we'll be dosing them. So we'll film the dosing of them with this new product just to show you everything about it and that. Yeah, doing really well, aren't they? And they're on, what we're feeding them at the minute is our own barley and oats and the last remnants of the Liffey Mills Weaning Rare. So we're just stretching that out with our own stuff. And yeah. So we're just moving our bulls here that we looked at the other day. This is their reseeded ground that we rejuvenated. And I was walking across there, I could see heaps of clover. See, can I find any now? Yeah, there we go. You can see all the little clover sprigging up now after being grazed. Look at it all. There's heaps of it coming up there. Done a fantastic job getting clover into the sward, so it has. But anyways, they also broke our fences. So it's another job to be done, but they're getting moved off these 3 paddocks now, going on to all the front paddocks. And there's quite a bit of grass out there, so that's going to do them a couple of weeks. Well, I'll do them a week anyways. You can see how the ground is nearly starting to burn up a little bit here. There's a wee dry ground here. Come on, lads, you counting, Liv? Through the gap. Looking well though, they're growing well. They're going out onto pretty strong grass here, so this will do them quite some time. By right, we should have a wire on the middle and divide it, but the problem we have here, there's no drinker in the middle. The drinker's at the far corner, so it doesn't really work that well. But anyways, they'll be happy there for a while to keep them going. I go back after these too.
So Philip's just in the yard doing something, so I said I'd come down and move the bulls. So these are the batches that are at home. So the bulls are here. And it's finally raining after about 2 weeks. The pumpkins will love. Here comes the boys. Come on, boys! Come on! And they are coming through to where we baled the hay to clean it up and eat all the back swaths. That should keep them busy for a while. Come on, boys! There they go. Let's see what we've got left. The stragglers. Come on! This way! Nelly, go round him up. Good girl now. You get the other one. He's actually one of last year's bulls who had a bad foot, so we let him back out of the shed. That's why he's taking his time. Nelly's doing a good job. Good girl now. They've all run off down that corner for some reason. But that's it. That'll keep them happy for a good while.
So here we are with our last batch of calves that we took off the feeder. So there's probably quite a few blues out here, so we'll go out and have a look. There's 50 calves here. We're going to bring this batch up to 60 because there's lots of grass ahead of them. We're going to mow out a section of that and the next one because we've lots of grass ahead of calves, and the bulls have lots ahead of them, so we're not doing too bad grass wise. A bit of rain that's after falling is definitely going to sweeten things up. But some nice blue calves, nice big square calves. There's one little guy there I done with for coxing. But yeah, all in all, this batch is looking lovely. On this batch, we got this batch dung sampled, and dung sample come back 0 worms. And that was the case with all the batches bar one, come back with 0 worms. Yeaher has tires gone, hence, yes, I can't remember what all we said, because it's another week, a couple of days on from the last bit, when we actually went to film these guys last. Liv moved the bulls and she come back out here and these calves were gone. They had just tore off across the fence and were gone. Why, we have no idea, but we got them back. Worm wise, there's no worms on these, but this is the big but. This is heavy land, and during spells of dry weather worms isn't a bit of an issue, isn't really an issue. But when you get a wet spell of weather, especially after a prolonged dry spell, that can create a huge flush of worms to come on, and give it 3 weeks time, the worm count could skyrocket here. So that's one thing we have to keep an eye on. But we will be dosing. I think everything's going to get dosed next week, just to get them, hit them, especially with this weather, just to give them the first start to it. But yeah, they're just tipping away there nicely. So we'll move on to the next batch. Come on, Nelly, we'll go feed the next ones. Liv is sorting out boxes of beef after being away for the weekend. Nelly. And I'm feeding the calves before we go picking some more stones. And we're up here now with the last calves off the feeder. So these were the last calves off our old feeder, the first feeder, basically Durside Avenue there. There's 4 heifers there too, 2 Herefords, 2 Angus as well. They're just were kept at home. Put them out there, have them out of the way. But yeah, they are just getting a bit tight for grass here. So we're feeding them a lock of hay, and the rain now should bring on a bit of fresh growth. But we're going to take 10 out of here and bring them down to the batch that we were just with. And then that leaves us with not too many here, and then these will go with the batch that will be going to the bridge field when we get it reseeded and it kind of ready. We'll try and keep them here until that. So with Charlie, a couple of jerseys, Frisians, they're all looking quite good. They've weaned off milk very well. There's one little Hereford there, not looking too hot. We're going to be rounding up him and about 4 other calves are still in the shed that we'll be sorting in the morning, and we're going to just keep them in. And we have one more bag of milk replacer there, and we're going to put it into them and see can we give them a bit of TLC, see can we jizz them up a little bit. But they're looking well, very happy with how they come off the feeder. And yeah, they're the last of them. One more batch to go see, and this round of feeding, and then tomorrow then it's just sort out the calves out of the shed. It's just shut the door, put them all in, shut the door, and then take the numbers as we let them out and keep back the handful we want kept back, and then they get moved on to the next paddock for them. Anyways, we'll be on. No. So we're out here now with the last calves. Yeah, so we'll put them back in then. Open the gate there, Rory. So we have, geez, Gertrude wants attention.
Gertrude!
So we have the last calves here that were on the feeder. They're off milk now. There must be nearly 2 weeks off milk, are they? And they've kind of run out of grass here in the clump, so we're sorting them, getting all the numbers so we can move them onto the bottom square, which is on the bottom, so that they have some fresh grass, and then they kind of get away from the shed. So we have most of them in there, but we have a few out here that we need to just take the numbers down so we have them in the batch. Gertrude, you're a noisy yoke, aren't you? So we get these numbers into Herdwatch on the batch, and in that way, if we ever need to find a calf, we know where he is and we have his whole history. It's part of how we manage our cattle, and it makes it so much easier managing them. So much easier because you know where everybody is. So how many have we? 1, 2, 3, 18 here. Yeah, and what was that Belgian blue there?
The small one?
Yeah.
Yeah, she can stay.
She can stay. So we have a few we need to keep in, just to feed them the last bit of milk, just to give them a bit of TLC, put a bit more condition on them before they come off. But yeah, we'll get these numbers down.
Standing at the crossroads, wondering which way to go. The past is behind me, future isn't up the road.
So, how many have we let out, Liv? 59, and we have 4 left there. We need plus 2 that we have to walk up. Charlie and a red Angus need to go in. But the rest of these guys are all good. Got a few blues, Angus. There's a bit of a mix in it. I have to go to the bottom gap there now with them all. Are you going to bring meal, do you think? Will they follow you, or we'll just walk? Walk. Right, you walk on ahead, Liv, and then we'll go behind you. Mix of calves. There's some really good calves. There's some calves a little bit. It's always the way when you finish up the last calves on the feeder, you kind of have a mixed bag of some really good calves, and then you have a few, you know, smaller calves. But You know, they're not doing too bad. Like there's a lovely bit of a calf there. Some nice blues on it, some small blues on it too, but you know, it's not too bad. There's some good calves, smaller calves. And then we just have them few that need that bit of TLC. So, and they're all following the Pied Piper anyways. Come on boys. Come on. Come on, up. Oh man, this is so clammy. It is so clammy. Anyways, we'll get these guys all moved down. Have to get some trust. There's a right good bit of a blue now. Very nice bit of a blue. To get all these guys moved down. Now this is always the hardest bit. When they come to a gap that they've never been through and they know there was a wire, they just don't want to go through it.
Come on.
Come on, through the gap. Nelly. Steady, Nelly. Nelly is a great cattle dog, but she has her moments. If we get more than one get away from us, we'll be in bother. Calves are moved on. Nelly's done a great job moving them. It's a pity I didn't have the camera filming. She really got the hang of it. So usually we split this in two, but the grass out here wouldn't be over hectic. As you can see, there's very little and there's a lot of stem. Nothing really. And that's because after this got flooded, this was all underwater during the winter, except for maybe a highbrow there and a highbrow further down. Where they are, there's nice grass, but the rest of it took out everything and it come back this kind of stuff. When I went to with the hot weather and the dry weather, it went to stem very quickly and it's a bit messy. So we'll let these guys out here to graze this until the bulls will be rotating around. We're going to get that topped, get the bulls to it, then spray off the docks, and then the bulls will come round, they'll graze that one, and when the bulls get to there, we'll move these guys back up to there. Might put a wire up on that just to keep two sides, then we'll let the bulls in here to really eat it down. Calves, especially young calves like them, they're 3 months, 4 months, 5 months old maybe at this stage, but younger stock like that won't eat down grass over really well. But if we let the larger cattle in, the bulls, they should do a nicer job eating it down. That field isn't just suitable for topping because there's a lot of stones along there and along them high brows. It would not safe for this moor anyways. 59 here, 4 up there, and yeah. So on the second shed, the new feeder worked perfectly, worked incredibly well. Very happy with how it worked. Calves got on it really quick, they come off it really well. Now we're down with, there is a couple of small calves there, but you always have small calves in every batch towards the end because you always have them few stragglers. It never changes that end of it. But we're very happy with the new feeder and that continuous mixing feeding. When the feeder was up and running full tilt, there was days there where there was nobody to look at. Nobody. Maybe one today or one tomorrow. It really was, compared to the old feeder, top notch. If we were very, very, very impressed. We want that continuous feeding to see what it'll be like, but yeah, it has just exceeded our expectations. It has done such a good job, and it was just so much. We just noticed the calves were a little bit fitter, a little bit more healthier. You were catching calves earlier because of the Fit Plus. It's a Fit Plus model, and because the way the Fit Plus model is designed, it catches calves that bit earlier. So you were catching a sick calf before he really got sick. The only problem we kind of seen, we've a lot of blues this year, most we've ever had. There could be 30 something blues I think altogether. There's a lot of blues. They were a little bit disappointed. They were giving us a bit of trouble there, and the vet was out a few times, and the vet just said it's a thing with blues. Blues tend to have smaller lungs and they're softer kind of an animal. So yeah, on that end of it, we were a little bit disappointed with the blues. There was a good few of them just didn't push on ahead as much as we'd have liked, but as the vet said, it's down to the breed. The breed of the blues is that bit of a softer animal. Finish up the video with feeding the first calves that come out of the feeder, the best calves, and yeah, by Jesus, so muggy. Anyways, and we're here with our last batch, the first calves off the feeder, and by far our best calves. We also have some of our autumn-born calves, the big guys, making everyone else look small, but you know, nice backs on them. These are the first calves that come off me. We're maybe a little bit tight on grass, not too bad. The goats are here too. So they are. Wherever you go to feed calves, the goats will just appear. They don't seem to mind the electric fences too much, but saying that, they haven't broke out. They always stay inside. So 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. The issue we're having with these guys is we're trying to keep a fence so we can kind of eat this, then have fresh grass that side, but again, very hard to keep them one side or another, and we've 8,000 in the fence, and it's just, yeah. Hey Gertrude, what do you want? What do you want, Gertrude? How's this calf rearing season gone for us compared to others? It's gone quite well. We are at the end now. The calves are all off milk bar. There's them 4 or 5 that we're just going to use up the last, an extra bag we bought just to try and put a bit of condition on them. But it's gone very well. And I can say without a shadow of a doubt, the biggest mistake we've been making for many years is we were buying calves too young. This year's new rules, the biggest one was we won't buy anything under a month old. And we didn't buy any calves under a month old, and it is such a difference. It's unreal. We still had a couple of calves with pneumonia. We had a bit of coccidiosis in the shed, but luckily we were able to keep on top of that, and we only lost two calves with it so far, which we think is quite good. We got on top of it early, and everything in our both sheds got dosed, but it's to do them again because the coxswain or that died keeps them safe for about 10 weeks. But by far, without a shadow of a doubt, a month old, and I'd highly recommend anyone that's at the calf game, don't buy anything that's not a month or older, because it's made such a huge difference. We can see our antibiotic usage is way down, way down. We've used very little antibiotics this year compared to other years. And the big one, which we never really talk about for obvious reasons, our mortality rate. This year in shed 1, the old shed, we lost 3 calves to twisted gut, and we lost 1 calf to pneumonia. So we lost 4 calves out of 120, which is, I should do the maths, should have done beforehand, 3%. That was our mortality rate of the first shed this year. And the second shed, we didn't lose any on milk. There is them 4 calves that we're going to stay on, and they could be hit and miss now, but in the other shed we didn't lose any calves while on milk. So our mortality rate overall our mortality rate for this year is 1.6% on milk, which is massive. It's absolutely massive for us. It's the best season we've ever had. And I'm two things. One, I think the biggest end of it is every calf being over a month old gets you by all the scours, gets you by all your rojas and all of that crack. Your calves are stronger, better immune systems, and just more vigorous. And the other thing too, we're only buying off 5 farms this year, whereas other years we were buying off 9 and 10, and that always left a higher risk of bringing in more diseases from different farms and that. So I always thought that a younger calf was easier to trade on to the automatic feeder. Where that came from, maybe some of us come up from, maybe it was me to come up, I can't remember, but it definitely done us a lot of harm over the years with that mindset. And we always thought an older calf would be harder trained, but we actually found that there was no difference. They got on it, they got with it, and they ploughed on ahead. And as you can see, these guys are over a month off milk now. They're flying it, absolutely flying it. I think they're nearly 6 weeks off milk now. Absolutely flying it. So yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, this year's been the best calf season ever for us. Now we move on to the summertime, which the big one to watch out for is worms, lungworms in particular. So we're with our vet, we'll keep doing regular testing, and we're also going to use Cydectin this year, which is like a very long term, it's like a full summer dose, so you only have to do them the once. See how that goes. We're also doing our multi-species sward the other side there, which we'll be filming. That might be Thursday's video, or I had at the minute trying to get it in, and we're going to see how that helps with anthelmintic plants and keeping the worm burden down. Happy out. And Jack, which is, I don't think is our oldest calf, but he's called Jack. He's one of our autumn-born calves, and he is superb. 100% Holstein. And look at him. He's a great bull calf. Great bull calf. Couldn't tell you how old he is, though. I can't remember. Yes, Gertrude? You're a pain, aren't you? Lives goats. Anyways, we'll go back on and get on to the next jobs. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you enjoyed looking at the calves and seeing how this year's calf rearing has been done. If there's one takeaway from it, to anyone that's at calves, don't buy anything under a month old. You're better off spend an extra 20 euro, 30 euro on your calf, and you have so much less issues. So much less issues. It's unbelievable. Anyways, hope you enjoyed today's video. As always, please like and subscribe to the channel. Videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday. That's it from me. Good luck.